Caravan, Periwinkle Blue, huh? Today I'm going to be reviewing Guy Ritchie's 2000 film Snatch. This month, of course, I am taking your recommendations. March on demand. Tell me what to review. This recommendation comes from Jason H. Thank you for this recommendation because this is a great movie. I watched it again last night after not seeing it for actually a really long time. But my love for Snatch goes back to probably when I was about 14. Yeah. Anyway, I remember it pretty clearly. This is a 2000 film, but it really kind of made its way to North America in 2001, early 2001, I'd say. And I remember reading this print review. It was in like the local paper or something, and it was a rave review. Like, finally, the hit from across the pond comes here, and blah blah blah. I don't remember the specifics, but it was a very positive review. And one thing that stood out to me was that this review, without giving away too many spoilers, it promised that you would never look at pigs the same way again, and that intrigued me. Of course, you know, that was referring to Bricktop, the main antagonist or nemesis in the film. His method of disposing bodies would be to starve his pigs and then feed them the corpses. So I kind of never did look at a pig the same way again. Still love bacon, though. But I remember, you know, I was intrigued. I wanted to see this movie. I was about 14 at the time. But this one, it was rated 18A, which, that's kind of a rare thing. Yeah, 18A. It's rated there. Not too often you'll see that, because I'm Canadian, so the Canadian ratings, they're always a little bit more lenient. It takes a lot to reach that kind of rating, and I would say it's probably rated that way because I would say mostly because of the excessive language. There's not too much violence in the movie, but you know, expletive all over this. So I remember I got my dad to take me to see the movie. We saw it, and I was blown away by this movie. I mean, definitely at that time I was trying to watch all the classics. I mean, I was well familiar with, you know, classic, The Godfather, Pulp Fiction, all of Stanley Kubrick's films, things like that. But then there's always the desire to see the new stuff. And this blew me away. This was a great movie. Such a unique style, a very erratic and high energy, fast-paced kind of film. That is very different than, you know, your average kind of, let's say, crime action film. This is very kind of off the wall, balls to the wall, whatever involving the wall. I mean, it's there. And, you know, I'll say it's a funny movie, has a lot of great lines, but it really, really is such a well-written movie. You know, because this is one of those types of movies, like, you can think of certain movies that kind of connect a wide variety of actors and a wide variety of plots that all kind of come together. Of course, you know, the Robert Altman kind of stuff, and, you know, Paul Thomas Anderson kind of stuff, and then you kind of like look at something. Let's look at something just for a second, like Crash, the Academy Award for Best Picture, Crash, which does that kind of thing where it interconnects characters. Remember, at the time, people were, you know, filleting the movie, saying how great and well written it was, and how it was just about practically Dickensian, which is bullshit. If you want to call something Dickensian, I'd say this one. It's British, so I mean, hey. But it does involve, of course, you know, crime and seedy characters, which that's kind of, for the most part, kind of Dickensian, I would say. But it's just so well written. And if you compare it to something like Crash, I mean, characters come and go. Some characters don't quite meet their promises in the plot. They don't connect. This connects so perfectly. Every character is integral to the movie. And it connects in such a satisfying way, in such a well-written way. I honestly, like, looking at this from kind of a writing perspective, watching it again recently, there is not a single, you know, unnecessary scene, not a single unnecessary character, not a beat is missed in making everything connect so perfectly, and I value that highly because when we bring it all together, it is a satisfying conclusion to the movie, and, you know, you come out of it and you're like, yeah, that's fucking great. Oh yeah, but of course a great cast. I mean, this was a movie that introduced us to Jason Statham, really. I mean, I can't think of anything prior to this that he may have been known for, but this really kind of rocketed his career. Of course, we have someone like Brad Pitt in the movie to kind of entice the American audiences. Meanwhile, as kind of like the ultimate joke, he's like, if people are going into this wanting to see a big American star and not these British people who we can't understand, joke's on you because you can't understand a single fucking word that Pikey is saying. So there's that. Of course, Vinnie Jones, well known for being in these movies from Guy Ritchie. Dennis Farina, who I love. I'd say, he is the ambassador for the American audiences in this movie. I think it is one of my favorite Dennis Farina roles. He's brilliant in the movie, absolutely brilliant. And Benicio del Toro, of course, but some unpredictable kind of things happen with his character too. So I think it's just it comes together so perfectly in this movie, and such a wide variety of characters. So funny. It is such a funny movie. Really great lines. Like there's a lot of quotable lines in the movie. Oh, what are you carrying that gun for? Protection from what? The Germans? Who took the jelly out of your donut? You did, Tommy. You took the jelly out of my donut. Anyway, whatever. But I don't know. I think he's just really funny. What should I call you? Bullet, Tooth. You can call me Susan if it makes you happy. Funny stuff like that. And funny. It does kind of make, crazy kind of crimes funny. Like, I mean, certain characters get killed, and it's in a humorous type of way, which is always hard to do because it's kind of like a black humor. But then, I mean, what the sign of why this really is as good of a movie as it is because it does reach a point where, yeah, it's still funny, but there's one portion of this movie, it's near the end, where we start to realize, things are getting more serious here. I won't give it away. I don't want to give spoilers in this movie, but it involves a fire. And at that point in the movie, you're like, well, shit, I'm actually invested. I can't believe it. And so I think that's really good. It kind of takes you by surprise. You're not just watching a wacky cartoon. Well, you are and you aren't, but you are invested in it, which I think works perfectly. So great energy to the movie, great high-paced, unique editing, great use of music in the movie, too. I mean, a great use of Fucking in the Bushes from Oasis with the whole bare-knuckle boxing finale. So great. I love the movie. I love it. Guy Ritchie, I'd say his best movie. Better than Lock, Stock, which is great too, but I'd say this is the best movie so far. I'm glad to have watched it again. So thank you, Jason H., for this recommendation. If you guys have a recommendation for me, I'm going to put the video below. Comment in that video. Let me know your recommendations for what you want me to review. March on demand. I'm taking your requests. So in the meantime, be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. Visit Derek237. And until next time, Caravan.